Hello, friends. Today we are going to speak on a very interesting and a practical topic. What practically we have to do in life to make ourselves very happy, rich, and always cheerful throughout our age, throughout our life, irrespective of the situation, circumstances, and whatever may be the things which are happening around us. Sounds interesting, right? Okay, so let us try to devise that. What I have just done is I formulated some 7 golden steps which you need to follow to make your life very, very happy, very cheerful, and always rich, irrespective of all the ages where you are. Maybe you are youth, maybe you are middle aged, or maybe you are more than middle aged. Then, even when you are going to start your career also, then irrespective of the times, this will apply. Irrespective of the seasons, irrespective of the situations, example COVID or even non-COVID for that matter. Okay, so let us jump into the topic right away. The first and the foremost, which I would always try to recommend, is save before you start spending. What we do is, we all try to spend everything and then whatever is left over, we'll try to save. That is a totally wrong principle. We have to first save, and then whatever is remaining, we need to start spending on that. Okay, now how do you do that? What you do it, you try to allot some percentage of your savings, try to have it debited from your salary directly from the bank, so that it does not come to your hand, because if it comes to your hand, it will never get saved. It will get spent away with some priority or the other. Okay, but if you want to save, you have to save through a direct bank credit or an EMI, like a recurring deposit or whatever it is. Okay, so this is a very, very important aspect. Now, if it is applicable both for a businessman as well as for an employed person. Okay, the second point is how much you have to save. If you have to save, you should minimum save 20% of your net salary, not gross salary by day, because gross salary includes your tax. Your net salary should have a minimum 20% of savings. Now, I'll give an example. If you are getting a net salary of 50,000 on hand, save 10,000 and then try to keep your expenses within 40,000. That should be your objective. Under no circumstances, no account, you should disturb this amount. Okay. Now, what is the benefit out of it? If you try to save 10%, say let us try to take the same example of 10,000. The present rate of interest being 5.5%. If you save it for say 10 years, you will get a solid 16 lakhs at maturity. Is it not a mean amount? Is it not a great amount? Tell me, my friends. So this is a very important aspect, that minimum 20% you have to save, and you have to save before you start spending. Okay, let's go to the third one. Do it now. When you've thought that you should save, start that investment right now. Because if you try to postpone, you start getting plans for how to spend the money on hand. And it will get spent away, it will get liquidated, it will get watered away, and you will ultimately, end of the month, you will say, oh, had I saved it, I would have had 10,000 on hand. This regret should not be there. Often, my dear friends, this regret is and forever prevailing for people who are non-decision makers. 95% of the people in life fail to have any savings, fail to become wealthy, fail to become rich, only because they don't take a decision immediately. That's the whole problem. If you don't want to fall in that trap, take a decision now and see that you save 20% of your saving right away. Okay? Now, let's go into the fourth one. Invest. There are 4 subcategories of investments here. Okay? First, invest on yourself. You should try to upgrade yourself, upskill yourself, cross-skill yourself, so that you are in tune of what the latest is happening in your field of employment, in your field of business. If you are not going to upskill yourself, be abreast with what latest trends are going on, you are going to become obsolete and you are going to become unemployed in the near future. This is a ground reality which you have to agree. The COVID is a right example for that. Okay. Second thing, invest in your family. Now, suppose, God forbid, something happens to you, how is your family going to be secure without your income? Take a life insurance policy to the extent that it can replace your amount, a monthly income. Okay, replace your monthly income with an insurance, life insurance policy, especially a term insurance. This is a must. Otherwise, they are under a risk of anything. Life is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen for anybody. Next one is health. Nowadays, you will agree that when you go to the hospital, even for a very small ailment, not less than 10 to 15,000 just get washed away. Imagine if it is going to be a very critical disease or a very serious disease, your entire savings are going to be wiped out. So take a health insurance policy to see that your reimbursements is got from that. The fourth and the most important thing is retirement. All of us are very, very happy during our work life because we get some income from our employment or business. Now imagine after we become 60, when you are not going to be employed. Okay, when you are not going to be employed, how are you going to lead your life? Have you made a provisions for that? If you have an ancestral property, well and good, no problem at all. But if you don't have an ancestral property, like 95% of the people, what are you going to do? Are you going to depend on your children for your income? Are you going to depend on others for your income? No. So create a retirement plan right today so that you enjoy your retirement life just as what you're enjoying right now. Okay? Next, we will go to the fifth one. Think of postponing your expenses. See, these days, lifestyle has become so much that you try to buy everything which is fancied. You try to buy everything that is going to keep up your social status. Ultimately, what really happens is you start spending more than what you're planned for. Example, a very good iPhone comes into the market with say 60 or 70,000 rupees, you immediately go after it, replacing your present cell phone. Your cell phone presently might be working very well, but still you want to really go for your iPhone. Okay. Same thing is with dresses. Same thing is with shoes. Same thing is with garments. Same thing is with any other thing for that matter. A car, for example. Your present car might be very good, but it could be as old as 5 or 6 years, but still running well. But you want to change it because of whatever reason it could be. It could be a pressure from the family. It could be a pressure from a peer. It could be fancy for yourself. Whatever it is. So ultimately, what happens is you spend more for a thing which is not necessary right now. That is what you have to avoid. Now, how do you now start thinking that this is not a necessity? Now, evaluate the necessity. If I don't buy that, what is the loss I'm going to incur? If I don't buy that for the next 1 year, what is the loss I'm going to incur on my day-to-day routine? Okay, can you possibly, even if you want it, say for example, you are very determined to have it. Now you do one thing, you try to save money to buy that instead of trying to buy that on a loan or on a credit card. Mind you, my dear friends, your loans through credit card or personal loans is going to wipe out your entire savings. You're going to make somebody rich, that is banks, and not yourself. You're going to make yourself poor. So think of this unplanned, non-necessitated expenditures. This is what I want to drive you home. Okay, with this what will happen is, the benefit is you control your expenses, which is your indirect saving. Start an RD for this, and then you know how much rich you can become. Okay? Now, let's go to the next one. Create a backup for emergency. One hard fact, my dear friends, which we have learned from this COVID is, I've seen a lot of people losing their jobs. I've seen a lot of people having their salary cuts. Now, we all have our salaries neck tight with our expenses. Income is neck tight with expenses. Any small cut in the salary or job loss will really hamper our entire routine. Our EMIs will go for a toss. School fees for children will go for a toss. Other savings and expenditures will go for a toss. What will we ultimately end up with? We try to take loans, we try to take credit card loans or personal loans from the banks and other things. So who is going to be at a loss? We are going to be at a loss. So what you do is, we should try to create an emergency fund for 6 months of our salary. Suppose we are getting about 50,000 rupees per month. Try to save 50,000 into 6, which is 3 lakhs in your bank account for emergency. Because within 6 months, definitely you will get a job, you will get a break somewhere, and your routine is going to be coming back to normal. But within that 6 months, you should not get financially unstable. That is the whole purpose of this. Okay, so with this, your benefit is your EMI will go intact, your children's fees will not be hampered, your regular savings will not be disturbed. Okay, and you will not end up taking more loans outside. That is the whole purpose of this part. Okay, the last but not the least, track your investments. See, we do a lot of investments during our work life. We invest in real estates, we buy some gold, so we make some fixed deposits, we try to invest in an RD and all. So as we move on from place to place during our employment changes, what happens is we forget whatever we have done in that previous city with regard to the investments. As our memory is very short, we forget the investments also. And the problem with forgetting the investments is you lose your hard-earned money and it is not going to come to your use for emergency or for your family in type of a need. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to have a habit of making a note of all our investments and tracking it once in a quarter. so that you know where your investment details are, you know whom to contact, and you know when to either take it off or rather extend your investment. And this particular detail you should always share with one of your family members, be it your wife or your eldest child. Because even if you forget, they will try to recollect the same thing and remind you of this. This is a very important aspect, my dear friends. The benefit you are going to get out of it is your hard-earned money is going to come back to you. You are going to reinvest or withdraw if the investment is not going to be lucrative in the long run. Okay, this might even come to your emergency use when you're going to track this. Okay, you can plan your expenditure accordingly, and you can liquidate these investments if it's not going to be really a very worth investment as of today. That time it could have been a very good investment, but today, if the investments are not really very lucrative, you can withdraw it and liquidate the investment. That's the whole purpose of this. Okay, friends, how do you like this 7 golden rules? You have to follow these 7 golden rules so that your lifestyle will not be hampered. You will continue the same standard of living irrespective of the circumstances around you. That is the whole purpose of the 7 golden rules which we have seen right now. Okay, you will never end up with any financial problem or tension or pressure, irrespective of whatever scenario or happenings around you. You will always be happy, always be cheerful, and you will pat your back, when these things are being followed and when others are not following that. So be a proud man to follow these rules, and once you follow these rules, you are going to be very successful. So let us just try to recapitulate what we have done. Save first and then spend. How much you have to save? Minimum. Do your investments immediately and invest on yourself first, then on your family for insurance, then on your health insurance, and then on your retirement plan. Think of postponing whatever expenditure is not a necessity and evaluate if you have to plan for that expenditure on cash. Create a backup for your emergencies during your employment or during your business exigencies. Track your investments once in a quarter so that you know where your money lies. Okay, friends, with these few words, I will end this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that I come out with more interesting topics like this. Okay, all the best. Have a very, very great, happy, and a rich life ahead. Bye.